Another first impression time. So I just watched the first episode of Peach Boy Riverside. It's on Crunchyroll. There are currently 2 episodes out, and I'm about to start the second one now. Um, so basically, it is, I believe, the story of, if you've heard their Japanese folktales, is a famous one called Momotaro. And essentially, it is a boy that comes floating down the river in a peach. An old woman finds him, and he goes to slay on ogres later on. And I believe he had a pheasant, a monkey, and a dog with him as companions. They were like magic or whatever. Now, that's just the basis. I never really heard the entire story. I just knew a little bit about it because I watch a lot of anime and it's been referenced before. My first thought is kind of like the reference of where there's Momotaro, and again the dog and the monkey and the pheasant, and Hozuki Naretsu. Hozuki Naretsu. Hozuki no Ritetsu. I think I said that wrong, even after getting it right. And it's one of my favorite anime. It's also on Crunchyroll. Love it, great, recommend it. It's hilarious. And there's the characters, Momotaro and the dogs, and they're side characters, but they're in that show. And so yeah, this is when I first saw the thing, I thought that the main character would be the boy with the long black hair. Now I'm starting to think it's going to be like Hunter x Hunter, where there's actually multiple characters that are kind of the main character. So we start off with Sally, kind of close up, just like, and she has found, okay, how do I put this? It's a humanoid rabbit, so it's like a rabbit head, and kind of like more humanish than animal, like really skinny, kind of like long legs like human, but like kind of like bunny feet, and a fucking sailor uniform and a scarf, and face down, stomach growling, and she's like, never seen this thing before. Well, you know what they say, don't fuck with things you don't know. And then as she's trying to walk away, stomach growling, she's like, fucking fine, gives it a carrot, and we are introduced to Frau, who is an adorable bun, and I want to pet her head. Now, Frau good girl. And decides to follow Sally as she says, carrot debt, because letter one gave her the carrot, two was not afraid of her. And we find out that demi-humans are hated. And so Frau decides to follow Sally into a village, and Sally's kind of like, I don't know why you're following me, but whatever. I guess she can come at least to the village. Discriminatory, yeah. They kind of start freaking out when they see Sally. Like, they're very welcoming, like, hey, how are you, traveler? And they're like, oh, fuck, what is that? No. And it turns out we get, later on, they kind of have to come back into the village with Frau, like, in a cape. Where the fuck did they get a cape? Was one I'm wondering. When I think about it. And kind of sneak in, kind of meet the Lord, and he kind of invites them over. And then he kind of tells a little backstory about the village had this huge, had this monster attack. Or I think he said there were ogres. If you don't know, that's what Momotaro hunts, is ogres. And they were kind of just recently saved and are now able to welcome people into the village because a mysterious, boy with long black hair saved them, and turns out that's who Sally's looking for. And we get a slight flashback that of her with like longer hair kind of chasing after this boy who's leaving the castle. And we find out, like, just the episode alone was called Ex-Princess and Hair Folk. But she is the ex-princess of the kingdom, I'm assuming, because she does say kind of briefly, I'm not a princess anymore. Kind of like to herself more than anything. And like it's her running after a boy, and you see just like the back of his, back of his head, and he's walking away with the dog, and she's kind of like desperately chasing after him, and it looks like she is for whatever reason not the princess anymore. Like I said, this is the first episode, so there's no real context as to why, and that she doesn't seem to like the kind of like the blatant I want to say racism or speciesism, I don't know. But she doesn't like the way the villagers are acting against the demi-human. And so the big bads in the show are kind of the ogres. And it looks like this boy she's looking for is probably like a hunter of some kind of ogres. I'm assuming. I thought it would be Momotaro or something. But basically, the story's premise, put simply, is what if Momotaro finished beating all the ogres and then decided to go somewhere else? And what if that was not the only Peach? And it kind of ends with like them getting to. What happens is they're kind of getting kicked out of the village, and an ogre shows up, which is a giant fucking chicken with like minotaur horns. Interesting design choice. And Frau one-shots the fucker. And of course they're even more terrified of her now, but she kind of stops and says, "Thank you for carrot, it was delicious." It's kind of briefly explained that the reason they don't like demi-humans is because they're very aggressive and they're stupid. Like, that's literally how to describe them. They're aggressive and they're stupid. And they're no better than monsters. So Frau, she does say she knows some human, but she does kind of talk in broken English. Broken human. Do you know what I mean? And I say English because obviously I'm reading in English subtitles, but obviously it's like Japanese, I'm assuming, because I'm so used to like listening and reading subtitles, I kind of forget what languages are actually talking in. But I assume everything on Crunchyroll is usually Japanese with English subtitles, and sometimes they'll dub it in other languages. I could be wrong. But yeah, she does kind of speak in broken human, and so she says, "Thank you, carrot was good." And they're about to leave, and it turns out that they were seen. They were like knights on horseback happened to see this, so they kind of get taken into custody, and they're taken to this kingdom. I can't remember the name. And both Sally and her are kind of taken, and they're kind of locked in a cell. And then he's like, "Okay, I'm sorry, you can get out, but the reason we had to do this is because obviously demi-humans, and also you just one-shot an ogre. These terrifying monsters, so like we kind of had to lock you up, I'm sorry, but we kind of had to." And he's like, and she's like, why is this, like, what the hell is that thing reason? And he I guess he's supposed to be like captain of the knights or whatever the fuck he was. Again, his name is like Hawthorne. I briefly forgot what the fuck he is. And he kind of says, "I used to also think the same way." And she goes, "Used to?" And he's like, "Well, I just saw a demi-human say thank you and one-shot an ogre." Like, kind of like his perceptions be changed a bit. And so they kind of do this, her and Frau, selling Frau, kind of do this, "Oh, we're so hungry, we need compensation." And he's like, "Ugh, okay, fine." And he's like, "Fine, I'll buy you lunch, but I ain't buying you dinner." And so they kind of go around the market a little bit, and then we get taken out to like the outer walls, and there are two ogres. One's a walrus, one's hot girl. Please let her be of legal age, because oh god, if I just said hot girl, she's not. Anyway, Bishoujo, they're good enough. Okay, pretty ogre lady. That's what we'll just put it that way. And like giant walrus with a unicorn horn. And I don't know why. It's just the way they drew the walrus, which it makes sense that he'd be very thick, because obviously walrus and blubber. But he kind of gets to the point that he's almost like a Minecraft block, and it makes me want to laugh. I don't know why. Maybe it's just that he's... am I laughing at him because he's fat? Why? It's because it reminds me that he's literally just very blocky. Is that I don't think it's that he's fat I'm laughing at, because it makes sense. I think it's that he's just very blocky. Which is funny to me. I don't know what... I of all people shouldn't be laughing, because I'm very chonky. I don't know why this is funny to me. Anyway. So yeah, Walrus... pretty lady, and uses her frickin' eye beam to zap some fucking balls and the people die. And then Walrus dude, I think his name is Set, and her name's supposed to be Miki. And Set's walrus goes inside and kind of... I thought he was being like a real asshole. Hold on, son of a bitch. There you go. So I thought he was being an asshole, but he's actually a less irritating than usual bad guys, where they always kind of like make fun of people. he does seem to have a little bit of honor, and the way that so Sally kind of starts acting weird and kind of like going towards it and kind of like she's out of it, and Frau decides to like kind of protect her. So Frau and Set, the walrus ogre thing, kind of have a battle, and she's she ain't gonna do good. She can't really do nothing to it. And then they kind of have a little bit of conversation. He's like, "Why are you doing this?" And she just carried it. And you know, Sally fed me. Sally was not afraid of me, and I'm gonna fight for her. And he's like, "Okay, I respect that." Like I thought, because usually villains like this, they're usually just assholes. But no, it's not. I always like to see a villain that's like, you know what, I respect that. I'm still gonna have to fuck you up, but I respect your choices. And hey, that was a good move. And unfortunately, I'm still gonna win. But like, hey, that was a good move. So he's kind of like that. So a little bit respectful, a little bit like cocky and rude, but still like in a way that you don't kind of hate him immediately. Does that make sense? Like obviously, you still know he's bad guy. You're not exactly rooting for him. You want Frau to win, but he's not a dick completely. And so Frau's about to die trying to protect Sally. Sally comes back. It turns out Sally's eye starts to glow pink, and then the iris is like a peach. And then you have kind of like this narration of like, what if Momotaro, you know, wasn't the only one? What if, you know, like I was just explaining at the beginning? And then you kind of see like an evil smirk on her face, and Set loses an arm. And then that's kind of how it ends. That's the first episode. I'm excited for this one. As for the ending song, I don't know if it's gonna be because usually on the first episode they'll do like one song, whether it's the ending or the opening song. And sometimes they'll put the ending or the opening song as the ending on the first ending song on the first episode, and not do an ending. You know what I mean? So whatever that is, I like it. And then the animation at the end, just the way that the character looks reminds me a lot of Rimuru, the black haired boy. I don't know what his name is yet, but so it looks like, I'm assuming both him and who we have not met yet and her are probably like these, I don't know, are they the descendants? Do they have like a similar power? But like basically it's going to be a lot of ogre ass kicking. It looks like maybe from the animation in the song that I think a pretty ogre Miki might actually join them somehow, and because they're in the title screen together, they're not fighting each other, like they're actually with each other, like I want to say posing, but they're not posing. You know what I mean? When they're kind of like, they'll show like a scene and they'll show the characters kind of all together, like how you'll see how you'll show. Combine that. Why am I talking about my hands? You can't see my hands. I'm over here like, so you can't see it. Bad habits. And still fucking doing it now. And how they'll show like the group of like the teammates, the friends that are going to join you later. You know what I mean? Like they're doing kind of like that where they're all together. They're not obviously like they're not fighting each other. So I'm assuming they're friendly terms. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas then usually if they're fighting someone, it's pretty obvious because they'll be like glaring at each other, or they're like duking it out, or they'll be seen like epically posing from the other side, like like I don't know what that was, but you know what I mean? Hopefully, because otherwise that look real dumb. Still look dumb. Anyway. So, Peach Boy Riverside is on Crunchyroll so far. Like I said, there are 2 episodes out. This is the first episode, and I don't know if I'm going to finish the second episode tonight and do a review for it. Like I said in my other review that I did before this one, same day, is that I do want to do like reviews for each episode of a show. I don't know if I'm going to do it for this show or for any shows in the future. Just like I've seen other people do it. I like that idea. So if I have something to say, I might actually do another video on the next episode. If not, I'm probably not going to do that, and maybe just wait until if I do finish the show, whenever it's finished, and do just like a review like I usually do of the entire show and what I thought of it. So, I don't know if I'm going to do episode reviews for each episode, is what I'm trying to say. But probably, if I do keep enjoying it like I am in this episode, that I'll just do a series thing. I literally just said that. Why am I explaining it twice? Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed this round of chaos that was happening. Hope you're all doing good, and I'm gonna take a breath because that was a lot. I'm gonna watch the second episode now, and hope you're doing well. Bye.